Welcome to Undressing Intimacy, where we cut through the bullshit
Greggy,
so we can get naked.
you can't say that.
Why not? How would you say it then?
Well, maybe more like, welcome to Undressing Intimacy, where we undress emotionally so we can undress physically.
That's exactly what I said. Not sure what the problem is. Welcome to episode number
44.
We are screaming towards a year's worth of episodes. Can you believe that, babe?
I actually can't. I can't
Crazy.
believe that it's been almost that long.
Man, and we just really enjoy this. Like we said, it's almost therapeutic for us to go record one of these every week. I thought I was going to be a challenge and a chore, but I look forward to it. So I'm so grateful that we get to chat together, babe. Seems like our last few episodes have been quite popular, so that's good.
A little peek into the intimate conversations that we have.
The
Yes.
backstage conversations.
Yes.
Today, we kind of want to double down on a little of the topic, but go a different direction that we've been talking about. And really, I think it aligns with us and our differences. We've been talking about how we are very different. And the problem is not the differences of themselves, but the problem is that we think the differences are a problem. And it really is where great intimacy and relationships thrive. It was in those differences.
I remember growing up, I made a list of the 10 things that I wanted my future husband to have.
Yes, ma'am.
And one day you found the list. And before we were engaged or anything, you signed it, which...
Yeah, there was a couple I had to cross out that were like, God, Jesus himself. And I didn't think I was going to reach that in his life.
And I thought that was so bold of you. Anyways, the reason I'm saying this is I thought going into marriage that there were these certain compatibility things that had to happen. We had to agree on these certain things. We had to be the same. There had to be this sameness.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought would make our marriage thrive, or a marriage thrive. And
Right.
even though I had studied this in college and had learned so many things about marriage and family and relationships, I still really believed that it would be us having sameness.
Right.
That would make us thrive.
We navigated this throughout our marriage in different ways. And even when we realized, like, I think this having to be the same is a problem and that we should enjoy our differences. We couldn't figure out for a while how we could do that, allowing the other person to be different and having their interests and still become intimate, because what it caused us to do is we kind of went to the other spectrum of toxic independence.
Right. Parallel lives.
We woke up one day and I wasn't emotionally enmeshed with you anymore, but you woke up and said, I think we're roommates. What happened?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And part of this conversation, it definitely was the sexual portion of our existence. It was the sexual intimacy in our relationship and the way that I had protected myself by pretending like I didn't care what happened and I wasn't worried about whether we had sex or not. But there was much more than that. There was all these things in our lives that were different, that I had interest in and that you had interest in, that we definitely didn't have the same degree of desire to go do, but yet we ended up not caring about that. And that was what made us in this parallel life instead of an intimate relationship. I think one that sticks out in my mind is walking. Like we've talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
You love to go walking and you wanted me to go walking so bad. And I would do it out of obligation, and that ends up in where we know always resentment, right? So I resented you. You would ask and you would just think it was just an innocent ask, and I would bite at you because I had resentment of having gone on these walks over and over again and not really wanting to do it. That was one in my mind, why I had got to a place where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore out of obligation, so I'm not going to do it anymore, but I don't care. And I don't care if you go on a walk or don't go on a walk. It doesn't matter to me.
Mm-hmm. And it's that cutting off and not caring that is what kind of we want to address today.
Right. And it's so dangerous because it happens without you even noticing it, right?
Right.
It's kind of like you wake up one day and you're, oh my goodness, I don't have any interest with you. There's no connection there. I'm on my own. I have isolated myself. I am toxic independent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And What I want to bring up is John Gottman. He is one of the leading researchers in relationships, and he has so many amazing things to say. And he spent a lot of time just recording and watching and studying, observing couples, trying to really pin down what makes couples thrive. And he split them into what he called the masters and the disasters, which I think is
We spent most of our time in disasters, I believe.
kind of some funny labels. And he followed couples for a long time, just really watching how do they interact? How do they relate? What kind of struggles do they have? How do they talk to each other? What is it that they do that helps them to thrive, to create intimacy, and what is destroying it? And one thing he found that seems so small, but seems to have a really profound impact is how well couples listen to each other's bids. And a bid is what he calls a fundamental unit of emotional communication. This can be anything, big or small, verbal, nonverbal. It can be gestures, it can be questions, it can be physical affection, it can be an expression, any type of outreach that one spouse makes towards the other. And how those bids are responded to was really what he determined separated the masters, those that were learning to really thrive with each other, not the amount of similarity they had or the amount of compatibility or the sameness that they had, or even whether they agreed or disagreed on something. That really wasn't what determined whether they were in the masters or the disasters. It was how well they responded to each other's bids.
I love the story that you tell about one of your clients, the bird story. Can you tell me the bird story, Amy? It's fantastic.
Yes. So I have one client, a couple, and one spouse just really loves birds. And the other, not so interested in them. They were sitting in a room together, and the spouse said, "Hey, oh my goodness, look out the window. Look at this bird. This is like so amazing." And the other spouse is like, "I don't like birds."
Yeah.
And in that little small micro moment, a lot of things happened. It wasn't about whether or not this other spouse liked birds. That's really not what has to happen.
She wasn't asking him to like birds,
She
right?
wasn't asking him to like birds. The bid was, can you take an interest in what lights me up and inspires me and sparks my interest? Not will you have the same interest as me, but are you interested enough in me to care about what I'm interested in?
And I think that's the core piece of this, right? Because that's what we really struggle with ourselves too. I loved football, love it. And Amy hates it because it was like what took me away from her. She thought it was
Hate is a
antithetical.
strong word now.
I know. I'm saying back then.
Yes.
Maybe back then.
Yes.
So during the time, it was like
Football
every football
represented-
season, I'm a single mom.
I'm
you
a
sit
football
around,
widow.
whatever, yada, yada. And she just hated it. And it was actually in our room for two.
Yes.
We were on room for two for Jennifer, which has been archived. So you can't go find it. So you can't find us, by the way. But it's in that episode that it came out that we started talking about. And this is one of the times that we started thinking harder about, I think we're in this relationship and we've gotten out of this enmeshment, but now we're in this toxic independence. And Jennifer pointed this out to us in this conversation 5. And she pointed out to us and kind of sparked our interest of, wait a minute, we don't have to have that same interest. And this is what I think is key to what you said. You have not become a football fan by any means. You do not follow football. You don't sit down and watch it for hours. You don't do it. But what you have done is you've realized it's important to me. Mm-hmm. And so you care about me and my enjoyment of football. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to ask and be engaged in how I am responding to football, not necessarily football itself.
Yes. I'm invested in your happiness as well as my own. And so I want to know what are the most important games you want to watch to make sure you have the time to watch those games, and also to take care of myself during those times. Sometimes I'll come and sit by you, not because I love football, but because I love you. But I have to be really careful never to do that out of obligation.
And that's why it's so tricky, is because if you're doing it out of obligation because I have to do this, it'll be resentful. Or if you're trying to change your interest and say, I need to learn football and really love it because Greg loves it, That's not going to work. It's not
No.
going to happen that way. And that's why it's so tricky, because it's just a very minute difference in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think to restate what I believe is the minute difference is you don't have to love the thing that your partner loves. You just have to love them and be interested in their happiness and well-being and how that thing brings them joy. Be curious about, why is it that football brings you joy? What do you do? If you started asking me that, and I said, this
Mm-hmm.
is from my childhood. This is my
Yes.
earliest memories of my dad walking around the
Oh, it's okay, babe.
I've lost my dad about 18 years ago now. But walking around the yard doing Saturday work, listening to KSL radio and the pregame show, and then sitting down and watching or listening to the football game, we were fanatics. We were connected in that way. And he's the one that brought me the love of football. And so it's different than just a game to me, right?
Yes.
It's something more important to me.
And once I started to ask that and understand that, I realized how meaningful this wasn't just a game. This was really a connection to your family, your traditions, your dad, your just family in general. You wanted to share this with your sons. You really wanted to share it with me too, but I was rejecting you. I was turning away from this bid. I thinking that it was just an indulgent, selfish practice.
Yeah. And see, the difference is that Amy didn't learn to love football and join me in that. It didn't turn to her. Now, some crazy reason she's picked up NASCAR, which I thought would never be possible. And we love that together. And she'll sit down and watch a race with me. She's never fallen in love with football, but she has changed her perspective around football and me. And it really makes a difference, because sitting and watching a football game and feeling guilty about it because your spouse is sitting there counting the minutes and adding them
Giving
up
you cold
and
stares
yeah,
and
and
that was me. I was the cold
pouting
starer.
and stomping across the floor and doing the dishes very loudly and
That was
all
me.
the things that she
Mhm.
thought I should be doing besides football, I knew. And here's the thing that I love
So
and care
much
about.
judgment was
Yeah.
was directed towards you.
The thing I care and love about, and I'm almost have to get to a point where I'm like, F you, I'm going to watch it.
Right.
Just because,
Rebellion is one of the
yeah.
only ways when you're being actively judged to try and hold on to
I'm
yourself.
really good at rebellion.
So you went to straight rebellion and I went to straight
Right.
judgment
Oh
and
yeah, I
resentment.
can watch more football. Just watch.
Yeah. And really, once I started to understand the meaning, acknowledging that bid and what it meant to you, then the rebellion really disappeared.
No, and it just the opposite, actually. It became
And
connection.
so did my resentment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just so grateful that you were curious about me enjoying football, and there was no anger or resentment as I watched, and so I could relax and watch it and enjoy it. And then I didn't have an expectation of you needed to join me, right? Because that was the other side of it. If you really loved me, it was
Yeah.
again like you would initiate sex, you would sit down and watch football. That was those.
It was that if then, like
Yeah,
we
if
talked
then.
around, and you literally said that to me. If you loved me, you would sit next to me and watch this
Right.
game. And I was like, but I can't because I will resent you the whole time.
What a mess. Now we're thinking about it. It was a mess.
It was a mess. And we were able to untangle it. But that's why I kind of want to talk about these bids, is because there's 3 ways you can respond to them. And you were trying to make a bid to really connect with yourself, replenish, connect with me, connect with family, create a tradition that was really meaningful to you and your family. And I was turning against that, like rejecting it wholeheartedly, judgmentally, resentfully. So we can turn towards a bid, and that's acknowledging really the person, right? You don't have to be interested in football, but I want to know what makes football meaningful to you. Turning away is just ignoring or missing the fact that there was a bid. That would be like, hey, hun, come sit by me. No response. That's turning away. And then turning against is really like rejecting that bid outright. And that would be my cold stare. I can't believe you would spend a Saturday doing this. And so these little micro moments, we think they're so small, but they're actually so big. And a bid can be a question about your day. It can be a gesture, a touch on the shoulder. And whether someone like sloughs that off, the spouse like pushes that away or like leans into it. It can be, tell me what's going on for you. You seem a little bit sad. Or it could be me saying, wanting to come in and tell you something that has happened maybe in work or family or something. And if you are recognizing, hey, this is important to her, she wants to share it with me, you're going to turn towards me, whether or not you care about what happened at work or family or whatever story I'm going to tell you, but you are acknowledging the importance to me. And so it's listening, it's hearing, it's being present, it's acknowledging. Ignoring or just like shoving away or being like, I can't believe you would come in and interrupt me. Those are turning away from bids. And that's the difference between the masters and the disasters. It's these little moments of how you show your interest, your investment, your priority in your spouse. Not from an
Yeah, not
obligatory or
fake.
caretaking or I have to do this so you'll be okay, but out of genuine interest.
It goes back to, again, so confusing because we've been taught about how life happens in with our lens, and we're in culture and religion and everything, we're so dialed into a single focused lens. This is true and this is false. This is right and this is wrong. And when society and culture tries to paint those so clearly for you, and there's a point when we're growing up, we've talked about in our emotional development, where you kind of need that black and white to be able to understand that there is right and wrong and that this is the way it should be. But as you mature and get older, if you stay within that single focus, you start losing perspective about others and the people around you. And you want to have this intimate relationship, but yet you put them in this box that you've created for yourself, your singular perspective. And if they don't fit into that singular perspective, then there's something wrong. They don't love you. They don't care about you. They don't want to be intimate with you. And the struggle really was for me was for one to understand Amy lives in a different box. She has a different focus. And while we have the Venn diagram, there's that middle that we see things similar, and that's what causes us to be attracted to each other, because you gotta have some of that, right? If you're completely different and we don't have anything common ground, you're not going to stay together in a relationship. So you got to have parts of that. But it's realizing that there's a whole larger part of that Venn diagram that's not overlapping with me. And instead of it being a problem, instead of trying to focus and fit her inside my piece of that Venn diagram or that box that I've created, my focal, it really is being curious, doubling down on curiosity of what is all the other things in that Venn diagram that we don't cross over. What are all those things that drive you, that make you who you are, that you love, that you care about, and why? And it really is getting down to that point of, I love you more than the things that are different about us, or more than being right and having you fit into my box.
I actually think those differences become really attractive.
Oh yeah, that's what we've talked about. That's where hot sex happens.
Well, not only that, just like attraction, because
You always get mad at me when I bring it back to sex. Okay, that's where other attraction stuff happens.
like when you are most in your element being you, it's
Yeah.
very attractive.
Yeah.
And I think what we tried to do at first was shut down that element for
Right.
each other. Like, no, 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 no. We have to be the same. We have to be the
Right.
same. You have to like what I like. We have to do the same things together. We have to always be on the same page. Instead of letting you keep developing as a person in your interest and me developing as a person in my interest. And when I see you in your element and in your interest, it's very attractive.
Right. She
And we
likes me as a
kind
cowboy.
of, I do like you as cowboy. When you shut those down, which is what we did for so long because we thought they would actually threaten us if we
we thought it was going to separate us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember for a little while when you were like, I'm going to play golf. And I was like, no, you can't play golf. That will be so many hours away. And
We don't have time for golf.
what will we do? And that will destroy our marriage.
It's probably good I sucked at golf, by the way. Just FYI.
But I think it actually helps build the person and the interest and like the depth of interest.
Right.
You don't flatten the relationship. You allow each person to expand and your relationship to expand with it.
And that's so interesting because you say that's attractive. Where here you thought it was going to drive us apart. It's really what pulls us together.
Yeah.
Oh, I like your differences.
Yes.
I like that you have passion about something that I may not have passion about.
Or that you have a completely different viewpoint. You're like,
Right.
wait, what? How is that? How did you get to this point? Or tell me the meaning of this. And that is really where a lot of attraction happens. And we end up shutting that down with too much sameness or too much like we have to agree. And that's what Gottman found. It's not about agreeing. It's about being interested in each other. And going back to he called it the love lab. That's where he really would bring couples in and watch them over cameras. He would record them for weeks at a time and over
Creepy guy.
years at a time. I'm sure they turned it off at certain times, but just to see how they interacted when they weren't. Because I think in a lab, people are going to interact a little differently
Right.
than they would in their own comfort of their own space. But he found that masters, couples that really were thriving and working well together, turned towards each other when there was a bid 86% of the time. And disasters were only 33%.
Mm.
So 2/3 of the time, they were either ignoring or rejecting those bids.
Because they were threatening.
I remember coaching a very intelligent man, a scientist, and his wife felt so ignored. And he was like, I don't know what she's talking about. And then I would say, well, when she brings up this article, they had this experience where she was trying to tell him about an article she found really interesting. And he was like, I'm not interested in that. And I'm like, right there.
Mr. Literal.
That's where you shut her down. You don't have to be interested in the article. You're interested in her and what makes it interesting to her. And it was like, oh.
I don't think we can underscore how important this is to life in general.
Mm-hmm.
I look back 5 years ago, or maybe even less, 3 years ago, and my life is so much more rich. My relationships, not only with you, but with my children and coworkers and friends, have become greater. Not because we're the same or we think the same, but just the opposite. I was so dogmatic. I was so, this is the right way and this is how everyone has to see things. That when we started changing our relationship and looking into it and realizing that it was those differences that made us thrive, and it was my curiosity and love for you that helped me be interested in the things that you may be interested in, not in a, I want to learn them, but I'm curious about why they're so important to you. That I started being able to do that with my kids,
Mm-hmm.
who are very different from me. And at the time, as a
I love to
parent,
see how different our kids are.
but at the
all
time you
so
wanted
very
them, you
different.
wanted to control them. You thought
Right,
you
we
knew
want
the
them to be the
best. You wanted to be
same.
the same. Like if you
Yeah.
did these 5 things, you're going to be happy in life. And if you don't do them, then you're going to be sad.
Mm-hmm.
And we've really had to reject that philosophy and thought pattern altogether. And it started with our own relationship. But I guess I'm saying that as you work through this and you start looking into how can I love my spouse and be curious about the things that she cares about, not because I'm the same, but because I love her and want to understand how she thinks and what she desires, that it will impact every relationship you have. I see the world in a completely different way than I did.
Just add so much richness and depth. Like
Yeah.
instead of having to have them see them only through your lens, you start to open up and see the world and experiences and different ideas and thoughts and perceptions in so many different people in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Oh,
And when
okay, that's
when
so
your kid can
interesting.
come to you and they can bring up things they know that you may not agree with them or maybe even disagree with them, but have conversations about, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. And to be able to have those conversations together is just amazing.
And I think why sometimes we turn away from bids, it are the meanings that we have. So I think there's a couple of things that happen. Sometimes we turn away from a bid because we have the meaning that it's
Threatens us. Yeah.
or that we're not enough, or that we'd have to
Change our perspective or view.
or that we're obligated, or something like that. And also, when we are rejected in a bid, what often happens is that is internalized, and that's feeling of rejection becomes pervasive in the relationship.
Right.
They don't care about me. They don't see me. They don't hear me. I'm not interesting to them. I'm not enough to them. I must be broken in some way. And that type of like micro moment rejection that keeps happening over and over is what creates so much erosion in a relationship, what erodes the partnership, erodes the friendship, erodes the connection, erodes the intimacy. And it's
The quiet
contained.
killer, though,
It's like in these little
silence.
silent moments. And I think this used to happen between us in conversations. You have
All
a
the
very
time.
direct manner,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes
I'm
you would
opinionated.
speak very directly. And in my mind, that was shutting down my bid to connect. It was like, no, just the way it is. And I've learned to say, hey, that was a little sharp.
It still happens all the time. You're like, you're condescending to me. I'm like, no, I'm just opinionated.
Can we try that again? This is a bid to connect, not a bid to shut me down.
And again, I don't think internally I was trying to shut you down. It was really this. Sometimes I'm opinionated, and I'm okay to share those opinions. And it's my difference of the way that I approach things, and it shut you down. And so we've had to learn both ways, right? You've had to learn to not get shut down, and I've had to learn to realize that the way I approach it might be in a way that will shut you down.
Like the tone,
Yeah,
softening the
just
tone
the
a little
tone,
bit.
not even the topic at all. It's just the
Yeah.
tone that I come at it with.
Yeah.
It will very much may shut me down.
I think another really, this one's kind of a touchy thing, but something that I see happening in a lot of relationships is our phones are getting a lot more attention than our spouses. And it's really easy to pull out a phone and get lost in a phone. And
Because the phone gives you everything that you like. That algorithm knows you,
yes,
and it's the sameness. That's
it's
interesting. I have never thought about
it's
this.
feeding you all the interests that you want.
That is how they capture you. They tell you the fantasy story that the intimacy happens because they're feeding you all the stuff that you crave. And there's no real connection there. You're just getting the things to say, validate you that you're good and this is the things you crave. You can't truly have an intimate relationship with your phone or anything on there.
No, but it can really pull you out of intimacy with your
Right.
spouse.
I've never thought of it that way. It's crazy. It's an aha I just had right now. And that's the dangers of being stuck in this digital world is it's going to feed you these things to make you think we're the same. We care about you. We know all about you. But it's just a damn computer with an algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
It knows nothing about you. There's nothing intimate about it. That's the problem with pornography, right? There's nothing intimate about it at all. It's a digital marketing tool to get your money. And that's all they care about. But yet it's feeding on that. I like the sameness and it makes me feel good if you're the same or you give me the things that I want instead of the curiosity of being engaged with someone because it takes effort to be engaged with someone
To be
that is
present.
different and be curious and ask the questions and to dig in it and to think about where you stand and why you stand that way. And is there different things that you don't see and to make up your own mind and say, no, I still think different than you, but that's okay. I care about you. There's so much more emotional energy that goes in doing that. But it's just like the physical exercise. If you get lazy and just sit there and don't do it, I think if you get lazy and stay on your phone and emotionally, you'll emotionally get out of shape and you won't be able to deal with things the way you want to deal with them. And we know that when we don't deal with those emotions, they come out sideways in ways that we don't respect and they ruin relationships. And it is the harder way to do it, but it's the exercise that causes us to be emotionally strong and be able to connect with each other.
Yeah. To be able to look in each other's eyes and see each other, to be able to put down the phone, listen.
And by the way, we suck at this a lot. So we're not preaching this in any way. You just see our bedtime routine. We're pretty good at doing an emotional connection, and then all of a sudden the phones come out and we connect with the phones.
Yeah.
So I'm saying this to myself and I'm hearing it for myself. And I'm going, this is why I'm drawn to that phone afterwards, because it's laziness, to be honest with you. It's emotional laziness. To put the phone down and connect with Amy takes more effort than to pick up the phone and feed me all the things that I love.
Mm-hmm. A constant stream of them.
Yep.
Yes.
Wow. I had never thought about that. Okay. I will do better, babe. I'm sorry. Confession moment right here.
Our son recently signed off of all social media because he noticed that it was consuming all of his extra attention and energy. And he said, I really just want to be present. And I was really proud of that.
Yeah, he's wise beyond his years.
That decision for him. And it made me a little more aware too. I think it's just an easy thing and it's so available and it's so ready.
Here's confession number 2. You ready?
Oh, gosh.
So I'm like, what an amazing kid. I'm going to follow his footsteps. So I deleted all my social media apps off my phone. And knowing that my family might never listen to this because they're afraid because we say sexual things on it. I had family in town this week and I wasn't emotionally dealing with what the challenges that happen when you have family in town. So I lasted like 2 days. And I'm like downloading the app. I got to get away from here. See, if I would have put it down and I would have been more curious about how my family approaches life and what makes them tick instead of judging them, I probably would have had a better relationship. Now that I look back at it, there's probably better ways to approach this and trying to escape into my phone. But yeah, there you go. 2 days. maybe not even a day, maybe like 24 hours. I'm like, shit.
Come back, babe. Come back. Come back.
I have to go away. It hurts.
Oh, man. Yes. I think it's such an easy distraction, and it is attuned like exactly to our interest. It's just one of those things
Yeah.
to kind of notice, like, are you really looking at your spouse? Are you really feeling them? Are you really seeing them? Are you really listening to them? Kind of like a check-in. Are you really hearing them? Are you noticing their bids in conversation?
I so many ahas just blowing up my mind right now. The same way of seeking validation from you, I guess I'm seeking validation from other places and my phone and everything, because it's the likeness that makes me feel like I'm okay with myself. There's the other side of the bid, right? Because there can be selfish bid. There's can be validation seeking
Right.
bids.
There can be kind
There
of
can be
victimized.
victim bids. Hey, I need your attention. I need you to take care of me. We haven't really talked about the other side of the bid, making sure that we're coming through with clean bids, because if our partner can pick up in any sense that we're trying to extract something from them, then they can't pick up the bid because it's emotionally damaging for them.
Mm-hmm.
And now thinking about the other side, about how I could clean up my bids so much more and that I could be less needy in them when I get to a point. And because, to be honest with you, that validation and that connection that you get with digital media and other phones and everything only lasts so long, because it's not really feeding what you really want, which is the true
Which is why you have to keep
human
going back to it.
connection. And that's why you keep hitting it and hitting it. And you're going to eventually burn out in it, and you're going to go trying to extract that from someone else, your spouse. And so it's making sure that your clean side too, that your bids are at a true wanting to share yourself with them, wanting not to change them and want them to validate that you're good, but that you really want to share so they know you and want to be known. So it really takes the other side. You have to be willing to be known to put out clean bids.
Yes. And I think what happens is I would tend to make myself small and shut down bids. I would tend to be like, I can't exist. I can't take up space. I can't make requests. I can't show
It's
myself.
dangerous. Yeah.
I've got to just be this non-entity that just pleases everyone. And so even the capacity to make a bid and say, hey, I want to connect with you. Hey, did you notice this? Hey, this is interesting to me. Hey, this really matters to me. And I'm very interested in this, or I really want to invest in this, or I really want to move in this direction. Even having the capacity to take up that space was an important step for
So
me.
your lack or your unclean bids was literally you just withdrew yourself and didn't
Mhm.
do bids at all.
Yeah.
And my unclean bids was I just got louder and tried to extract stuff out of you and continued to bid louder and louder and louder, but it wasn't clean because I was seeking something that you couldn't give in me. I was asking for validation. I was asking to be okay. And so it shows up very differently, but those are both two ways of not coming to the table with clean bids for the other one to accept.
Yeah, absolutely. Or not even coming with bids, right?
Yeah.
Just avoiding. Like
Yours
you
was
can't
just
get
not to.
rejected if you don't make a bid.
Yeah.
And you can't not be enough if you don't make a bid.
One of the things I just always used to drive me crazy was you were like, well, I never buy anything for myself. And you go to the budget and you're like, never buy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you're not told you can't. But it was like the stripe of martyrdom that you would paint up across your chest.
It was a superior
and like,
martyr.
I take care of everyone else and never take care of myself. And so it can come out in such different ways. In fact, it does, because we're such different people. But there's also that side of it.
No, I don't have a problem spending money.
Yeah. Amazon's our best friend. If our Amazon person doesn't show up at our door, we can start checking on their help.
Was like Christmas in July.
Oh, or package after package on the doorstep.
So yeah, I don't have a problem taking up space anymore.
No.
I don't have a problem making bids, but I think but these are sort of like indicators, right? Like, where are you at? Are you able to make bids? Are you able to receive bids? Are you able to turn towards your spouse? Are you invested in them? Are you invested in yourself? They're all sort of like indicators of your relationship.
You know, this leads me to another kind of aha that was interesting, though, is that we've gotten better at you've gotten better at being able to take space.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, when we get into this, are we taking up space? Do we take care of ourselves? Are we willing to do it? Now it's become a measurement game sometimes.
What do you mean?
Like when I say that I give you crap about spending money on plants.
Oh,
and then the first thing you go back to is point about how much Clifford costs. And then I point back out that Clifford's your son too. And then you point back out to me. No, he's your horse. Then I point back to you. Well, you don't love him. So I'm going to go out to the barn and tell him that mom doesn't love him anymore and doesn't think that he's his son. We did it in a very teasing way, but in
Yeah.
reality, it did become something personal, right? You're like, oh, watch, I spend money on plants. Well, I just got the vet bill. Take that. So you got to be careful there that we don't measure tit for tat, or you try to, to add things up. That it's okay to carve out a space for yourself, and the other person. Why I thought it was mostly teasing. There must have been some kind of true cutting behind it, because that's where she threw the vet bill at my face. He's expensive.
Yes.
I'm like, is there a problem that our greatest expense these days is the horse?
We may need to go to therapy for that.
I think you should get a horse. Just because you flirted to get yours, you don't have to pay for it.
Funny.
That's another story.
Okay. Well, we are totally off track now. But to wrap this up, our hope today is that this podcast helps you notice how you are interacting. Are you able to make bids? Are you able to hear those bids? Are you able to show your investment in another, not in an obligation, caretaking way, but in like generous interest?
Curiosity,
Interest, affection. Just tell me about that.
What makes you tick?
What makes you tick? And I think that brings up not only the partnership, but the attraction. Bids are the fundamental unit of emotional communication. So whether or not these bids are being received, whether or not you're able to make them, it's fundamentally exposing your emotional intimacy.
Yeah. No, didn't think I was going to go through there on this podcast, but that was some great ahas around the both sides of the bids, and making sure that we were coming with clean bids too, and making sure that we're reaching out and being curious to understand what those bids are from our significant others. And that allows us to have that intimate relationship. And it really does make it more rich. Knowing you in a different way and knowing what makes you tick, and the curiosity makes you more interesting. You're not like me.
Nope.
And it's such an asset instead of a liability, but man, for so long it was such a liability. So if you're out there thinking, oh, I wish my wife was more like me, or my husband was more like me, or that they got into this hobby that I had because it'd be fun to have someone to do this with, that's okay. I'm not saying they can't, but you probably need to check in and figure out if you're emotionally connecting with each other, and if you're being able to give and receive clean bids. Mm-hmm. It's made a world of difference in our lives. It really has. Mm-hmm. And like I admitted, in 4 different ways, I still F it up quite a bit. So it's not saying I'm good at this.
It's not about perfection.
It's not.
Ever, never, ever.
Because I'm far from. But you
can be very human.
Yes.
And have some very deeply ingrained patterns and still be able to have a very thriving relationship.
We just feel so lucky that we'd be able to talk about this on a regular basis and dig into it and study and think about it. And so we're just blessed. That's all. We've been blessed to do that. And we really want to share that with all of you. And we're grateful for every one of you that listens to us. I never imagined that there would be this many people who'd want to listen to us.
No, little boring us.
But we love doing it. So we're going to keep doing it, whether people listen to us or not. And we appreciate those that do. And we love to help others be able to find these little nuggets that aren't hard really once you get them. I mean, you'll still mess them up, but it changes the way you think about your relationship and with others, and it changes your life. And we love to watch that happen. So
it's like that awareness, right? You know something's missing, but you don't know what. And then when you start like, oh, how are we listening to each other's bids?
Yeah.
Oh, right there is a huge component of a marriage.
So we just challenge you this week as you go along, just start recognizing it. Right? If you can't do anything else, just recognize, oh, that was a bid. Be curious about it.
Did I turn towards?
Yeah.
Did I reject? Did I turn away?
And you may not even be able to catch it and change it, but just recognizing it will be very interesting to you to see where you're at as you're trying to connect emotionally with your significant other, and really help you measure where you're at in your intimacy.
Amen.
We'd love to help you out anyway. Please come visit us at langfordlifecoaching.com. Every page has a button that says free consult. We would love, love, love for you to click that button and join us. We are really getting to a point where we're starting to think about other ways to engage y'all. Hopefully we'll be able to have some group sessions and maybe some retreats and things like that. We've been thinking about them. So we want to be able to engage you, but if it's all it is that consult and we can just chat, love it.
Yep.
Please.
That's
Please
our
come join us.
passion. That's our goal. That's our hope. That's our mission.
Yep. Please continue to like and subscribe.
Leave us some reviews.
We're going up those star point rates. Not that I look at them every day.
You
That would
check
be
them every
bad.
day.
I would never do such a thing. Not that I checked about how many people have downloaded the podcast. That would be bad. Would never do such a thing. But please continue to listen, like, subscribe. Go give us stars everywhere you listen. We appreciate it so much. If you would love to reach out to us and ask us questions, we'd love to answer them on the podcast. It's Greg at langfordlifecoaching.com and Amy at langfordlifecoaching.com. Please send those our way.
Yes.
And until next time,
Keep undressing your intimacy.
bye-bye.